Several years ago on Facebook, one could see a very popular picture. It was widely spread and it was spread very fast. There was a card with an image of tree and a note on it. If you don't like your environment, change it. You are not a tree. From the first reading, it received in Armenia very hot critique because it was interpreted as an invitation for migration. Like, if you don't like Armenia, you can just leave. You are not a tree. You don't have roots very deeply rooted into the ground. And it's not surprising that that note was read like the first interpretation was that way because migration is a very hot topic in Armenia. We have high-rate emigration. We have many people that leave Armenia permanently or long-term, or we have villages with a very long years tradition of seasonal labor migration, where most of the male population leave for work abroad and stay the most part of the year in Russia, while women stay at home with the elder people and children. And these trends see very often as challenges, demographic challenges or other challenges, and people think that they claim that someday Armenia can be just emptied because of this very high rate of emigration. So it is not surprising that that message was read as an invitation of migration and very much criticized. But today I want to tell you another story, which is another interpretation of that note. You understand, right, that you can read that note another way. If you don't like where you live, you can just make the place better. You are not tree, you are human being and are more powerful. So I want to tell you the story of Lucine. Lucine was an educational migrant. During one of my researches, I had an opportunity to have an interview with her and listen to her migration story. So she left Armenia for education in Sweden. She was from a classical, traditional, nice Armenian family where people are very supportive, and she had elder brothers that supported her with everything, as much that even he helped her to find a flat in Switzerland, to rent it, and to arrange all the needs that his sister could need in the initial period of her migration experience. Everything was set up very nicely, so she just left for her education and started her education in Sweden. And as you might possibly experience, her first feeling being in a new place was loneliness. She was alone, no family, no supportive brother, no friends. But in some period, she realized that feeling of loneliness, that being alone was also an ability of being alone. She realized that she has some things to do, she must be able to do things alone, because first things were set up very properly, but she needed to figure out many things, how to do in university, how to find places. If she wanted to go to pub, she had to know how to communicate with people. It's not like in Armenia when if somebody made you upset, your brother would say, "Oh, you go home, I will solve this problem." Or if you need something, you go home, I will get that for you. Here in Sweden, Lucine had to do everything herself. And that is how she first felt the challenges for doing that, but then she realized all the ability that she can do and be self-confident, be self-sustainable, and being able to do many things alone, to set her own goals, to have her own preferences, to solve her problems, and to make her own decisions about different things. So after she made already her friends and get rid of this feeling of loneliness anyway, this sense of being able to do things alone by herself, that remained. She felt more self-confident. Another thing she faced with was finding herself in a different and unfamiliar environment. Everything was the other way, not the way she used to have in Armenia. The coffee she preferred, she couldn't find the coffee there, was different. Food was different. Even the door of university was somehow differently opened. And though she realized that it's just the door, but anyway, it was somehow different. And it was strange to find all your everyday routines, experiences different. And she also faced with her otherness in that different environment. She had other outlook, she spoke other English language, she had other preferences of drinks, she had other styles of communication with men, with peers, and that feeling of otherness made her think about that otherness. What is that make me different? My language, my gender identity, my age identity, my cultural identity. And that was a good place when she gets so highlighted that question about herself, and she said that it's not even important how you would answer to that question, who you are with your or difference, but that you have that feeling so strong that you can't get off reading of continuous reconsideration of your identity. And finally, she said that she got very strong feeling of personality. All these things, when strong perception of personality, being unique, and having this, being sure that this personality, and even with otherness, it has much legitimacy, and it requires a unique place and unique space, unique environment for being, led her to another consideration, that she needs the place and the environment where her individuality, her uniqueness, her personal goals must be fulfilled. So when I asked Lucine after her return to Armenia, what were her life goals, she answered me. I want to read her answer to be more, to present exactly her words. If you asked that question before living abroad, I would probably answer to have a happy family and an interesting job. Now I have a very strong feeling of individuality, and I need a particular environment to fulfill it. If there is not that kind of environment in Armenia, I have to create it myself. Several years ago, I would not think that I could do that. Now I believe in myself. And in case I can't make changes alone, I will need to cooperate with other people. Lucine is a public activist now in Armenia. Thank you.